Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Christina, and in today's video, I'm gonna be sharing with you not only a December recap and January plans and goals video, but a year recap and plans and goals for the upcoming school year. If you've been around, you know that I've been doing my monthly plans and goals video for a couple years now. And so as I approached the end of December, I was like, oh my gosh, do I do a separate video or just combine them? And I decided to combine them because I just felt like some things would be repetitive. And also because I was invited to join in on a collab here on YouTube with a bunch of other homeschool moms that are going to be sharing their plans and goals, their resolutions or lack of resolutions for the upcoming year. And so if you are interested in hearing from other moms on this topic, you can click the link in the description box below. This collaboration is hosted by Wendy over at Plan Prep Pray, who is so good at being organized and planning and having systems in place. And so if you do not know Wendy, I encourage you to go check out her channel and to check out the playlists of the other moms that you might be inspired or encouraged by there. So, I cannot believe that 2024 is over. I couldn't even believe that December was over, let alone 2024. It happened so fast. We were so busy in December after a month of sort of slowing down in November. If you caught my November recap and December plans and goals video, I shared with you guys that I definitely had planned to be a little bit more restful and planned a little bit of a Sabbath month, and it didn't quite work out that way. So if you want to hear more about that, you'll have to go back and watch that video. I knew December would be very busy because one thing that I did do in 2024 is I officially launched my Rooted Home Life media business. Now, Rooted Home Life has become a business for me. The aspect of my business where I photograph and capture video and share cabins and unique places to stay had really grown, and I felt like although I share a myriad of things over on my Instagram and all different aspects of our lives, I just felt like that area needed its own Instagram page and to become its own official business. And that is something that I did in the summertime in 2024. And December happened to be a very busy month as a result. I ended up shooting 5 different cabins or Airbnbs in the first 3 weeks of December, so before Christmas hit. And so it was a very, very busy month. I traveled to North Carolina with just my oldest son, who is 17, and we shot a beautiful cabin there about 30 minutes from Asheville. And it was by Serenity Stays. We stayed at Whispering Pines Haven, which was this beautiful cabin, had a beautiful view, and it was just such a peaceful, beautiful time for us together. Like having that one-on-one time with my oldest son was so special. We then shot 3 different properties in the Poconos. Those were all incredible and different in so many ways. We shot Leawood Cabin, which was this beautiful A-frame chalet style cabin in Jim Thorpe in Pennsylvania. It was absolutely gorgeous. We shot Monarch Cottage by Stay Gold Properties, which is a place that we had been to before. We just love that it has like a bunk room loft with games and things for the kids to do, and a hot tub and a fire pit and a fireplace inside. It's just like such a cozy place in the Poconos. And then somewhere that was brand new to us, we checked out Pocono Vintage Home, which was a vintage home in the Poconos, and it was decked out for Christmas, and my kids had the best time. The last place that we shot was in the Adirondacks of New York. If you're not familiar, the Adirondack Park is a huge 6 million acre nature preserve in New York, and we stayed at Outlook Hideaway Cabin, which it was incredible. It was huge, and it is 4 miles from Whiteface, which is one of the coolest places to ski and snowboard in the Northeast, definitely in New York. They have the highest vertical drop east of the Rockies, which is a huge deal. I definitely don't make use of that. I definitely stay on the beginner slopes with my younger 3 kids, but my boys, my 2 teen boys who snowboard, love Whiteface and going up and hitting the blues and the greens. And just, it's a great time. And so it was 4 miles away, which was incredible because it's hours away from our home. And so we had a great time. It was beautiful. I would highly recommend that place because there are so many things to do in the Adirondacks in all seasons. Skiing, snowboarding, hiking, snowshoeing, ice skating, checking out the quaint little towns. It's just a beautiful place. And then all of the hiking, oh my gosh, in the fall, it is just absolutely stunning. We traveled quite a bit in 2024 as a whole. I meant to do like a count of all the places we stayed. I have no idea. It's got to be upwards of 20, maybe 25. We hit a lot of places, multiple different states. We traveled to Tennessee and to North Carolina, to Vermont, New Hampshire, not Connecticut, trying to think, a lot of different places, New Jersey. Yeah, I went to the Wild and Free conference in September in Franklin. I went to another conference in Syracuse, New York, where I got to see some friends and listen to some speakers, and it was just incredible. So 2024 overall was an amazing year. Lots of changes with the business and changes in our homeschool, with my oldest being a senior, which is just crazy to me. He got his license and is a driver now, and he has a job, which he's had for a while, but he's like getting up and driving himself to work and like driving himself to youth group and taking my 13-year-old with him. And I'm just like, it's a huge, huge change. And so one of my goals going into the new year is to really finish well with him homeschool wise, and just remain prayerful about what that looks like, balancing my academic expectations with him along with the expectations, our state requirements and the things that he's passionate about and wanting to prioritize, being very interested in mechanics. He spends a lot of time on his car and doing oil changes for people and brake replacements, and learning and growing in this area of a trade that he may be interested in pursuing. And so just continuing to be prayerful with him and to talk with him about what does he want his next stage of life to look like. So that's a major goal for us throughout the rest of the year for 2025, which is crazy to me to even say 2025. Other than that, I have a 4-year-old who is getting ready to turn 5 very soon, which is so sad to me because she's my baby, and my baby is going to be 5 years old. A 6-year-old, a 9-year-old, and a 13-year-old. So just continuing to stay focused with them and our academics and that balance with our adventures. One of my goals for them and myself, especially because it's harder for me than it is for them, I think, is to continue to get a lot of outside time during 2025, but especially this time during the winter. We live in upstate New York, where winters can be very cold and it can be harder to spend larger amounts of time outside. That's why last year we took up skiing and snowboarding, because you can be outside all day, and if you're bundled properly and not get cold, and you're getting that entire day of being outside in the fresh air, and it's just so important for your physical, mental, and emotional health. And so that's why we took that on. But outside of that, going on nature hikes and letting the kids use their mud kitchen in the snow and turning it into a snow kitchen, and just, we got a bijou build that I'll have a video coming up on my channel all about building it and the whole process. And I love that it can be out all 4 seasons and just be a place where they can experience being outdoors. We do not have a huge house, and so I have 5 kids that have a lot of energy, especially my 3 littles. And so them getting to be able to move their bodies and get outside is really important to us. So having that bijou build is like crucial to one of our goals for especially the beginning of 2025. Additionally, right now I am part of the 1,000 Hours Outside bundle. If you're familiar with homeschool bundles, I love them in general. If you've been around, you know that. But this one in particular is so close to my heart because I love 1,000 Hours Outside. I love the mission of letting kids be outside as much as humanly possible. And this bundle is not just like a list of like, here's 20 ways to get your kid outside in the winter or in this fall or whatever. These are actual printable units, resources, lessons, activities, experiments that get kids outside. So it's not just a list of things to do or ideas. It is the actual, there's like these little cloud viewers, and I included my mud kitchen recipes in the bundle. So I have like the regular mud kitchen recipes, and then I have my autumn mud kitchen recipes, and then I have my snow kitchen recipes. So I definitely encourage you, if one of your goals is for your kids to spend more time outside, especially if you live in a colder climate this time of year, definitely check out the link in the description box below to the 1,000 Hours Outside bundle, because it's only available for a limited time, and it is like thousands of pages of resources for $25, which is crazy. You just get so much stuff. And you'll have it forever, and it's from multiple different age kids. And it's kind of like a buffet. I always say that about bundles. Like, I don't love all buffets. Some of them are good and some of them are just no thank you. But it's not about, am I gonna eat every single thing at the buffet? It's like, am I gonna eat enough of the things at the buffet that it's worth it? That's how I think about bundles. It's not like, oh my gosh, am I gonna use all 100 of those things that are in the bundle? No, so it's not worth it. It's like, no, for $25, am I gonna use like 3 to 5 things that it makes it worth it, that I would maybe spend on separate printables anyway? Then yes, it's totally worth it. So I would encourage you to just go to the link and you can scroll through on the bundle page and see all of the different units and resources that are in there and decide if you think it's something that would benefit you or your kids. So that is one of our goals, is to get outside. One way that we're doing that is we do also have a homeschool skiing and snowboarding program that we did last year that gets us at least 1 day a week on the slopes, and we're really excited about that. That is getting ready to start very soon. We are missing the first one because something else that we have going on is we are actually going on a trip in a couple of days. We are going to be going somewhere warm and sunny. So I actually really do love the changing of seasons, and I don't mind winter, and I really love when it snows, but it is going to be really nice to get somewhere warm by the ocean. And so we are going to be gone for a week. We're gonna miss our first week of skiing and snowboarding, our session, but that's okay. Then we will come back and we will start our skiing and snowboarding session. Finding balance for myself as a mom, which then we know always trickles down to our children, is also one of my goals for 2025. I don't really wanna say resolutions because I don't know, I don't love resolutions, but I always make plans and goals every month. And so I really like the rhythm of reflecting and planning, So that's one of the reasons that I've loved doing these videos monthly with you guys, is that it kind of forces me to like stop and reflect, like, how did things go? What did we actually accomplish? What did we not get to? And then how do we need to either like adjust or build upon that or make changes for the upcoming month? And so doing that for the year, I do find really helpful and useful. So something that I've wanted to really focus on as we move into the new year is having balance. So really making sure that I'm prioritizing like eating healthy, drinking enough water, getting in movement, getting sunlight and getting outside for myself, and balancing that with things like our morning time as a family and academics as my son's work schedule fluctuates a little bit. He became a certified lifeguard, so his hours have kind of changed and fluctuated since that change came into place. And so he's still working at the same family rec center that he was, but now he's lifeguarding, which is a different role, obviously. And so just kind of managing all those things instead of becoming frustrated or overwhelmed because things have to shift or change, just really coming to a place of peace and balance with all of those things. So I guess like maintaining peace and balance amidst change would be one of my main goals for 2025. Another one of my main goals is becoming intentional, or more intentional, I guess, about my work on social media, here on YouTube. Moving forward, just wanting to be really intentional about the content that I put out. So I would really love to hear from you guys about what kinds of videos, like, are there videos that I used to do that I no longer do that you're like, really wish she would bring back those videos, or videos that you're like, I don't really find those helpful. If you can tell me that kindly, that would actually be helpful to me, because I don't want to waste time creating content. Same for Instagram. Like, I don't want to waste time creating content that is not helpful or what people are looking for. Being prayerful and intentional, like asking God to really lead and guide the content that I put out here and over on Instagram, and also my podcast. So in 2024, in case you didn't know, I started a podcast. I haven't been super consistent with it. I think I put out 4 episodes, and then there was like a couple of months of no episodes. And so getting back to my podcast, I initially planned on it being like 2 a month, but maybe I'm gonna have to just do it like monthly. Maybe that's more realistic. But I do like meeting with other homeschool moms and having guests on my podcast and getting to interview them and introduce them to you and all of those things. And so I'm interested to hear what you guys think. If you've watched the podcast, or you've watched it here on YouTube or listened to it over wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. I'm not sure if I'm going to, moving forward, share them here on YouTube or just keep it as an audio podcast. So let me know. I would love to hear from you guys if you feel like it's something that you wish I would continue to do here on my channel, or if it's okay to just go ahead and shift it to a separate thing entirely. So let me know what you guys think about that. One of the ways that I am going to be trying to kind of like reset and find balance for the new year is through the Homeschool Refresh virtual conference. I am so excited about this, you guys. I am going to be sharing on health and wellness for homeschool moms, which is a topic that I feel super passionate about, like really nurturing ourselves and nourishing ourselves physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and relationally. I am so excited to share all about that. But just as much, if not more so, I am so excited to attend the conference and to be refreshed by all of these different homeschool moms in their areas of passion and expertise, and learn from them and be encouraged by them to really finish out the next part of the year strong. And so if you want to get a ticket to the Homeschool Refresh virtual conference, I will put the link in the description box below for you to check that out. It is going to be in the beginning of February, and I do not want you to miss it. As far as academics that we have coming up for the new year, and even just for January, we are going to be finally starting our new history, which is going to be a focus on the Middle Ages. I shared a couple of months ago that I am planning to do sort of a hybrid of Gather Round Homeschool's Middle Ages curriculum with Beautiful Feet Books Middle Ages curriculum, and they are very different but both very beautiful, so I will keep you posted on how that goes. We finished up our Ancient Civilizations by Gather Round Homeschool, and then we took a little bit of break for December, and we'll be obviously breaking as we travel in the beginning of this month. And then when we get back, we'll be starting our new history curriculum. I also want to start either in January or February, Intro to Psychology by Gather Round Homeschool. We did Health in the Human Mind, which I think really laid a great foundation for thinking about the brain and about the five senses and all of those things. And I think the Intro to Psychology is going to dig a little bit deeper into the psychology aspect. So I really am glad that we did Health in the Human Mind by the Good and the Beautiful. And now I'm really excited for us to try Intro to Psychology. So I'll keep you posted. I did purchase it, but I will keep you posted about whether or not we start it in January or February. I'm thinking maybe, because we're starting a new history, I may wait till February, like wait a few weeks till we kind of have a good foundation of our new history curriculum and focus, and then in February jump into adding in that new science. For Bible, we've been reading a psalm a day and a proverb a day. The Proverbs, we've just been reading them and discussing them. And then the Psalm, we've been using the wonderful Ancient Psalms Ever New devotional. Many people know the Ology. We did that before, and then now we are doing, we've been doing Wonderful for a while now. Like we've taken breaks from it. Like we kind of took a break for it for Advent because we were doing an Advent devotional, but we'll get back to doing our Psalm and Proverb a day. And then we've been reading a passage from our children's storybook Bible, because that kind of helps my younger ones get this sort of overarching framework of the Bible from start to finish in a shorter period of time. So we're reading it from the beginning to the end. I would say it's a step up from a children's Bible because it doesn't have like just your basic, I don't know, like Sunday school Bible stories that most people know. It does have more. So we read them as a family because it's helping us remember like kind of this arc of the story of God. And then the next one that we're going to read is a little bit closer to the full scriptures. So it will kind of like build upon that, fill in the gaps a little bit more. And then after that, we're probably just going to start reading more of the actual Bible. We do read the actual Bible and the full scriptures. Like I said, the Psalms and the Proverbs. Oftentimes my husband will read from that to the family at night. He'll read a chapter of the Bible to us. And so we do get the full scriptures in. My boys do more than my younger ones, but I kind of like the balance of reading it to them in story form where they can kind of understand it a little bit more, and then adding on to that with the actual full scriptures. So we'll be just continuing that in terms of like our Bible studies and our spiritual health. I also started reading this. This was going to be just for my senior to read. This is from Generations Homeschool Curriculum. I will link Generations down in the description box below. This is by Kevin Swanson, Worldview, What We Believe, What They Believe, and Why They're Wrong. And I wanted to read the introduction together with my oldest and my 13-year-old because I wanted to kind of read it and I wanted to like get my senior started on it instead of just like handing it over. And my husband was here when we did it. And he was like, wow, I love this book. And so I think it's actually going to be more of like a read aloud for me and my older two boys. And so we'll continue this, but this I initially got for my senior. And then he just recently started the Kickstart program, which is kind of like a mentorship and kind of like helping you transition to the next stage of life from being a teen to being an adult. And it's just been really great so far. So I will give you updates on that as he continues through that. He's also still doing consumer math from Not Consume Ministries. He has some book studies that he's doing from The Good and the Beautiful. And then, like I said, the history that we're doing and the intro to psychology, he'll do that with us. For my 13-year-old, he's still plugging along with his math and language arts from The Good and the Beautiful. And then he's, going to be reading this with us and doing his own independent reading and doing the history and the science that I mentioned. For my 9-year-old, same thing. She's doing math and language arts still from The Good and the Beautiful. We are actually trying out as part of the beta tester program from Gather Around Homeschool, their new math program. And it's been really interesting so far to see like a little bit of a different approach to math. We're still very early on, so I don't feel like I can give you a true review of it yet, but I'll keep you posted. So let me know in the comments if you're interested in that. I also got the ones for my 4- and 6-year-old, so I'm doing it with my youngest 3 kids as of right now. Same for my younger 2. We do not do a lot of formal academics with them, and I don't force it being 4 and 6 years old, but we are using The Good and the Beautiful with them as well. I think that is pretty much everything that I can think of right now. But as a reminder, if you're interested in getting a ticket to the Homeschool Refresh virtual conference, you can find that in the description box below. If you are interested in getting the 1,000 Hours Outside bundle, you can get that link in the description box below, and you can check out the playlist and Wendy from Plan Prep Pray in the description box below as well. If you're new here, I hope that you'll subscribe. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Definitely comment and introduce yourself. I love to get to know you guys. I am not always the best about responding to comments in a timely manner, so please don't take it personal if it takes me a little while. And if you have video requests for the new year, please put them down. If you have questions, like think of it as like a specific video request or an ask me anything, and I will gather those all up and pray about them and decide on some new video content for the new year for you guys. If you're not already following me over on Instagram, you can follow me there at rooted_homelife. And if you're into seeing all the cabins that we visit and shoot, you can check out Rooted Home Life Media over on Instagram for that. I hope to see you soon in one of my next videos. And until next time, stay rooted.